Thank you, Scott, for the introduction, and I want to thank everybody for coming into our Q&A. This is our Wednesday question and answer webinar where myself and Brad and the rest of the team, we kind of take you on the insider journey of where we're trying to position the technology to help you capture the most out of the stock market. Before we begin, let's start with the disclaimer. All the information that you're going to hear today are strictly for educational and informational purposes only and should not in any way be construed as any kind of solicitation to buy or sell securities. If you want that kind of a solicitation, you need to talk to a registered investment advisor and transact through a broker-dealer. Okay, so without further ado, there's not going to be much this time in the way of PowerPoints. I'm going to start with the basics, and that is, as you guys all know, part of how we add value to the community is we provide a lot of things for free. We provide a free kind of swing strategy called the Trade of the Week, and of course we have our trading room, which is moderated by Barry Anderson. Every single day the market is open, except of course when Barry's on vacation and market holidays. Barry's there from the beginning and helps people really understand the process of best practices use of utilizing our technology to extract outsized returns in the market while maintaining risk control. That's really what it's all about, maintaining risk. And what we're going to be talking today is shortening that distance. How do you get there from what we show you to the trade? So of course here at the top you're going to see trade-ideas.com/trading room. If you are not a member yet, you really should go ahead and create a name and come in there. You'll see a reason why it's a growing community. So I'm going to minimize, and I'm also, of course, going to do a quick double check of my partner Brad's audio. Brad, and your audio. How are you, big guy?
Hey, buddy. I'm still here. Doing well.
Okay, fantastic. So everyone, are you able to see my screen? Because you're looking at Trade Ideas Pro. This is our flagship premium product. And I've got, man, do we have a lot to talk about today. But I want to make sure, again, you can see the screen well and everything's coming across. So at the very beginning, and we're going to usually have a platform for these webinars where we start with the super basics, which is on the left-hand side, you see a channel bar. This channel bar is designed to help you navigate things in the market very quickly, depending on your preferences. For example, right now it's after hours, so if we want to, we can quickly go see how did Facebook, react to earnings, etc., etc. There's a channel for virtually everything, whether it's taking advantage of people who are betting against stocks or playing the very popular and non-hedge fundy lower float stocks where it's really real supply and demand. So again, the idea is that this is your Netflix, okay? So this Netflix is available to people, and and again, you get a lot of information. That's why it's good to scroll all the way down. You can access the trading room here. You can go to Barry's custom windows if you want, where again, Barry is sharing not only his expertise during the day, but of course, setups that he uses. Jamie just recently added a compare count window that helps you see a completely different perspective of what's going on in the market using our proprietary compare count technology. Obviously, during when the market's off, the point is harder to see, but you can imagine what this looks like when the market's on. And it's yet one of these unique tools only accessible through Trade Ideas that lets you see the market better. So the big thing that we've done during this test drive is we brought forth version 4.25. Version 4.25 is our real flagship version, which showcases what we've been doing, which is trying to help people like yourselves be able to find stocks like this and stay in them. Well, how the hell do we do it? Well, it requires consistency and patience. And also it requires for you to be able to see some things that you might otherwise have not seen. Notice here that we are now giving you historical signals of when the artificial intelligence, our flagship product, has been in a stock, and you can then start to visualize and see if the AI made a good call or not. Again, it doesn't always win, but when it does, you are going to be made aware of it one way or the other. Okay, and anytime you see a symbol, if it's not traded, you won't see anything, and when it is traded, you'll see some sort of a signal like is visible right here. But the bottom line is, we're trying to move away from the end user tinkering and getting to the end user taking advantage. So from that point of view, you really have to ask yourself, well, how do I take advantage of the stock market? I mean, every day you're going to be bombarded with lots of interesting information. And ultimately, we want to be in these kinds of stocks, right? But how do we do it? Well, I'll give you guys the answer. So our flagship product, the product that really separates trade ideas from virtually every single other vendor of any kind of fintech, is our artificial intelligence. And what the artificial intelligence is, it's your virtual analyst. It's like if you are investing and you're sitting next to an investor who's really, really good, never gets tired, never gets to eat, never makes one mistake when it comes to taking big losses. Imagine learning from somebody like that. And imagine somebody who goes to bed at night while you're sleeping, the AI is dreaming by crunching up possibly up to 1 million trades, learning what has happened. Okay. For one of the first things I'm going to point out, and this should become sort of self-evident, that today the AI was able to spot incredible opportunities on the downside. This is something that we've been talking about for a long time, where we said, listen, if the stock market was to turn negative, our software and our technology is not the kind of technology that's just looking for good buys. It's looking for you to take advantage of a direction, whichever direction that may be. But when the odds are going to start to present themselves, it's going to serve up things to you that have a potential to really, again, have you take advantage of the downside. That is really what we're trying to showcase. And of course, notice what happens. Notice what you are able to do if you're able to focus on the information that we provide you. And that's really the race between yourself and what it is that we do. Ultimately, it all has to come down to one basic question, which is, what are you going to pay attention to throughout the day? Brad, today, it wasn't easy, was it?
No, today was definitely not an easy day, but utilizing these ideas along with price alerts and just being savvy, there's a lot of money to be made out there.
No, there's absolutely no doubt. Is my audio still working?
Yeah, you sound. I can hear.
Okay, perfect. One of the things, Brad, that like I thought that is really hard for people is if when they see something like EVH, like look at this example. Surely when you see something like this come across, instantly your thought is, well, I missed it. I mean, that's typically what people do. And it made me think about maybe trying to convey one of the toughest lessons that both happens, and we've said this on many times, in both golf and investing, which is how do you do it where you invest within yourself? Notice something. Brad, what do you see here on the relative volume of a stock like EVHC?
Well, you have icon up right now, do you not?
I do. Sorry about that.
Yeah, there we go. So I see incredible volume. I'm looking over at our single stock window, right? And my eyes are immediately drawn to the volume. And when things are moving this types of percentages with huge volume, there's tremendous volatility.
So what a lot of people do, and the mistakes they make, Brad, is what they'll do is they'll get into a trade like this and just hope to get the direction right without realizing that you've got to be in the kind of size where you really are kind of surfing the big wave. So I was talking, you and I were talking about this, and I said, well, you know, if you want to feel something like this and remember, our AI is really, what is it trying to do? It's trying to find where the waves of probability and statistics exist. And in something that has a 34% direction in it, certainly something big is going on, right? Well, you've got to be able to get into a type of size here where whatever it is amount that you're in, you are not going to be eaten down by the volatility, which was very high.
Well, in addition, you know, this was a huge gapper today. So again, that introduces a lot more volatility to the stock as well.
Right. And then it goes back to people also need to be prepared for taking advantage of the opportunities when they happen and when they happen quickly. Steve Gomez, who's Today Trader on Twitter, made a great comment when he said, look at the trade in CVRR, which happened at the very end of the day. You know, this is another thing that we do where it's very difficult for individual investors to kind of position themselves to be able to buy situations like buyers stepping in, because what does that require you to do, Brad? It requires you to know when something's coming down and then consolidating, and then where the support is based on some, you know, some level that you've seen. That's very difficult to do, but when you have the kind of real-time data that we do, I mean, you literally were able to pull 4% in an hour here. And look at the volume. These are the things that you and I are continuously trying to reiterate to our subscribers, to our customer base, about the fact that if you're not looking at this information, if you're not studying the AI and how to take more advantage of it, that's where you are hurting yourself. It's very easy to get distracted by what people are talking about, like social media stocks, of course. Like, I mean, an Icon happened to have been an AI trade and will be in some of these, but there were other ones like LBIX. You know, one of these where it's very exciting, very, very exciting, but you can get stuck in these and kind of never come out. So that's why, you know, it's not always a situation where being in the one thing where everyone is at right now pays off all the time. It's selective. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to come up with a quantitative way to discern when it is time and when it isn't. And I think we've come a pretty good long way in doing that. You know, again, it also helps you in some other ways. In the room we were talking about how when this NVMI started to really present itself, and this one happened to have been one that went down instantly. It's what you call the gift of a trade. It came down, it hit its profit target in 26 minutes, which is incredible. Okay, so it's 6%. Well, obviously that was the big move, but it hit its profit target in 20 minutes, which again is very, very, very good. But what is this? Semiconductor measuring. And when this started to go, you can see other stocks that had situations that were not dissimilar. Of course, again, you can spot the move by kind of keying off of some of the things that are being presented to you, aside from simply trading the exact same. It's kind of like what we had talked about, Brad, in the stocks like this compartment. When you see one of the things, you can see if there's anything else that's going to happen, and look at these two. Okay, that's why often you have a situation where the AI will be in two different strategies, two different stocks, but the same sector, because the probability is working out in the sector the way it's being bought. So I would say, as the high level takeaway, Brad,
it's like the purest case of non-discrimination. You know, it doesn't really care what stock it is. Most likely it could be a stock you've never heard of. It's just simply looking at thousands of stocks simultaneously, and when something looks like there's an arbitrage opportunity, it presents it to you.
So going back to what is the optimal way to take advantage, I would say that one of the ways to do it, okay, is to get into some size where you can be in the trade and not be panicked. What is a trade size, whether it's monetary, like maybe it's $1,000, $10,000, $15,000, maybe it's a share amount, 50, 100, 500. What can you do that doesn't make you panic when you experience the downside, which you will? That's, I would say, that's probably one of the number one things that made me successful over the years, is figuring out how do I maintain that state where I don't panic, where now I can approach each one of these trades very non-emotionally and just try to be in them and take everything I can out of them, knowing that they're not all going to be like this, that you're still going to have some of this.
Right, but it's really important to follow the rules, to make sure that you don't get trapped in one of these stocks below the stop level.
That's right. And that's why, again, talking about how we innovate, right? Everything is color-coded for you. And when the AI gets in, you see a blue line that tells you where the entry is, and wherever you are, you know exactly what you need to do. You know when you need to exit, and you know, of course, at the same time, when you've hit a profit target. So I don't really know a better way to say that trial and error from this standpoint. If you are a subscriber and you've tried the premium product, you're seeing what it can do. You've got to now get into the point of how do you best interact with it. And from my point of view, it is being able to unemotionally get into a systematic approach of right-click, trade, and set up the trade in Brokerage Plus if you use interactive brokerage. So basically, you can already mimic the AI. Just do it in an amount where you're not panicked. Does that make sense? Are there any questions? Again, remember, all of this is available already. You have to be able to live another day. Almost every single person that I've seen leave the game leaves because of the one big one that got them. It's like that thing that nobody wants to believe will ever happen to them, but it ultimately does. Every single person that's no longer investing is no longer investing because they got into something, it was a big loss, and they stayed in it, and they took it, or it rather took them. That's the only thing. And Brad, do you remember we've talked about this at our various events where we said there's only 4 things that can happen in a trade, which is small loss, small gain, big gain, and big loss. Eliminate the last one and you're fine.
Yeah, absolutely. It's critical. I mean, discipline.
Of course, I don't want to oversimplify it, but that is the case. So guys, this is our AI, and again, it will give you signals to follow right away. Every signal that the AI gives you has swing potential. And just because it didn't win today does not mean that this trade is not going to work out, which is one of the reasons why we create these price alerts that allow you to move with the software. So you can say, okay, once it reaches a certain point, for example, maybe the AI kind of alerted you, but once you saw that it was broken, like, look at this, that right here is, there's no more resistance at all. So once it breaks this level, again, Barry and I have talked about it, that's the blue skies, that means the buyers have won, and again, you can just have a little bit more confidence. So you put these alerts in, you right click, you create a price alert, and then you're done. And then the software is just working with you. It's 1, 2, 1, 2. Anything that draws your attention, you can bring it up. You can say, oh, that's interesting. Now notice again here, the lines. This is what I want to just show. So here you are on the daily. Look, you have your stop dotted. You have your profit target dotted. If I was more zoomed in, here's what it would look like. So if I brought the stock up and I looked at it, and I'm not in any stock right now, if it wasn't in anything, I would see this and I automatically know my levels. Let's say I am in Facebook. It's the same thing. This is where it is right now. Boom, here's my levels. Any stock you want, the software is giving you the levels so that you can manage the trade so that you are never hurt by that one big loss. And now all you have to do is observe, and you will know that the good ones will come, and you will know that we will manage the bad ones via the risk on, risk off environment. So Brad, how are we caught up on the questions? Because what I want to do is I want to talk about what we're doing on the web and some of the other big things that are coming up.
Yeah, we just had a question where a gentleman, Waleed, is curious where to start. You know, he's just getting started with trade ideas and not sure which channel to look at and what ideas to process.
So that's a great question. And I would say that we do some of this already for you. So imagine that you are getting ready to start the trading day. You're most likely or should be on the pre-market channel, which is going to tell you, well, what's gapping up and what's gapping down. Okay, so you're going to kind of have an idea, you know, what's going on. You can maybe make some notes before the market, you know, ooh, this got killed, but if it gets here, maybe I'll, you know, just whatever you want to do. So market opens, ding, 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 market opens. Okay, so the next is going to be a little bit of a, well, who are you? So Waleed, you're saying you're a beginner and you're trying to start out. So this is like cable. What do you want to watch? HBO, Showtime, Cinemax? You might say, I don't know, I want to watch something good. Well, something good is almost on every channel. So Alpha Predator is this channel, and there's channel descriptions. Brad, maybe you can pop a link to the channel description somewhere. Or
yeah, let me find that.
So Alpha Predator, for example, is this channel that's looking for stocks that are really making kind of big percentage moves, and they're not too expensive. But the idea here is that there's just a lot of opportunity. Okay, and if you look at what they look like, see, the idea is that, man, maybe if this thing goes, you can get this breakout into this area. Can see these reversals. I mean, getting the reversals right is one of the best plays you can make. Okay, so that's where I would start. So I would say Alpha Predator after the open. Then you can kind of play around. Look at the channels. They all look similar. Excuse me. So notice there's a similar pattern. There's two charts and then there's supportive windows, which means that, so like here, you're on Alpha Predator, but it's kind of the same. It's a different way. All the channels look similar, but provide different information. Every stock you can look into, you can see like how much cash do they have? What's the float? Surge. What is surging where all of a sudden there's this big momentum thrust? Okay. And here, this one was to the downside, another one to the downside, and of course, XNet. Don't ever let anyone tell you that you cannot make outsized returns in the stock market in a short amount of time. I mean, this is what we are about right here. And you know you did not hear about the stock on CNBC.
So Dan, I mean, I think it's also really important to kind of know who you are as a trader and what you're successful at, and find out what you're successful at, and then utilize those types of signals and windows to assist you in helping you find those types of events.
Imagine also understanding that there's a really silly thing that people do, which is they expect to instantly make money in stocks, and that prevents you from actually doing the right thing, which is learning how to just be in the market and getting the flow and losing properly so that then you can make money. This notion of instant gratification is very immature, and I think it's part of a meme that's been put forth on the investing public so that you're just more inclined to give people money to manage, all fee-based. I mean, crazy stuff, but it's so true. People want your money. They don't want you to do it. There's no wrong way to do it. That's the thing. If you follow simple rules like following the levels, if you get in here, don't let it go below here. You know? There's no reason to. Let me show you guys something else. So remember we talked about our software studies the market, right? Unlike the way most people approach it, which is trying to figure out a system and then making that system work, our software keeps throwing itself out of the market, okay, every single day and reworking itself. Look at this trade in HMNY. So when HMNY started to go, our software bought it right here after it probably looked very overbought considering it was up already like 300%. Then it caught this move from 9 to 16, and on the 16th it said it's a short sell. Now here's where the thing is, well obviously look, it ran for 3 more days and went parabolic. Nobody could withstand that, and nobody should have to. But the reason it went short here is because it said that over its profile of other stocks that have done things like this, most of them come back. And look at where it is now. I mean, that is the notion of self-learning. And look at where it learned that. See here, these things? As this is happening, now the software is learning. Look at these big up moves. I'm going to zoom in. Look at these moves right here. From here. Boom. Boom. I mean, that's what learning is about. That's why it tells you that, listen, you need to be able to take advantage, to not only just stay in, but get out. And on HMNY, I mean, there's no surprise that it is now 7 points lower than the short sell signal. This is the advantage we're trying to give you. Is also, again, it's like staring at you and saying, don't stay in, don't stay in. I mean, I don't know how else I can help explore it. And that's the other thing is, look at what it's doing here. Okay, so when there is this notion of pressing your bets and understanding that when you're doing well, you want to bet more. But the software, again, it sees when it's succeeding. And once it starts to get into something, and when that doesn't work out, it tries to learn its lesson. That's really the bottom line. And I think that's the difference between what we're trying to do in the stock market versus what our competitors are doing. We're not trying to come up with a better indicator because there's no such thing. We're coming out with the proper approach, which is an approach of every day you restudy and you reassess. Okay, so right now while we're talking, the software, it's doing its thing. It's doing your homework for you. So notice how, let me see if there's a trade. Okay, here, there's a trade in Trillium. You can see it tried to pick a bottom. It didn't work, but now it's higher. I wouldn't be surprised to see something like that happen again. See, to us, these are all ways that the software is continuing to learn from itself. Okay, and the simple 1, 2, 3 punch in trade ideas is the rinse repeat. You see something, okay? Either the A, whoops, where did I go? Brad, did you see what symbol that was?
No, I didn't. I was in the question area, sorry.
Okay, well, I can use any one of them, it doesn't matter. So you see a symbol, either the AI brings it up to you or you're surfing through it and you say to yourself, wow, okay, this looks good. I would love to catch this move. Let's see, I've seen those HMNYs when they reverse or whatever, they could go. So let me put an alert at, let's say, 220 and say, what's the low here? And say something like, stay in until 1-8. Okay, so it's like right here. So you get in. So now I have my own like additional information, the rinse repeat. Okay, any one of these you can do the same thing. You look at it, You see what the software is telling you. This is your exit. This is your profit. But you can also say, okay, well, look at this thing. Let me put something in here and call this I must get in. Okay, because it's broken out completely. So now what I love about it is that I just don't have to look at it ever again. I may not notice it for the longest time, but now it's in my area. And in our cloud, which you also have and you have access to, I can always go in, and again, whatever it is that you're doing in your cloud, you can always go in and you can retrieve all the things that you've been working on. So here, for example, I'm looking at my price alerts and seeing how have my alerts been doing, the stuff that I've been commenting on, the things that I select. Have I been making money or losing money? And so it's bringing it up and it's going through, and so I can see which ones have done the best and why. So see, I had this alert right here on EFX at 94.47. It was triggered and it had a great run. Again, here's a breakout on Intel going. And you can see when you made, see this was made on September 15th. So there's no way to lie to it, Brad. That's what I love about it. You know, if you're good, you will see it. And if you suck, you will also see it. And obviously, you know, you're not always in everything that works. You know, here I thought that I was getting into something, or I thought that this would be a good entry and just didn't work out. But that's, again, why you have the stops. So that's how you work with our software. It's a rinse repeat of see it, mark it, notice if the AI has been working on it, and move on. And then, of course, during the day, during market hours, you are working with the AI because it will most likely find, I mean, look at the selection of trades and the percentages. I mean, again, 9, 9, 6, 5, 1, 1, almost 1, almost 1, and then of course 13, 10, two big losers, but the rest all on the positive side, and that's why you see these outsized gains. Also, compared to what you have to deal with if you're just in the S&P. Brad, are we caught up?
We are caught up. Yes, sir. Let's talk about some of the new stuff we've got going.
Okay, so guys, we are innovating and innovating and innovating and innovating. Brad, do I have the version where I can, I don't even know if I have it.
I just, yeah, here, you want the link?
Why don't you, yeah, show me the link. Click the link and I'll bring it up. So guys, we could show you something cool. Are you gonna do it over Skype or over?
I'm gonna pop it into over Skype.
Okay. All right, guys, we're going to show you what's about to come out on the internet. Very exciting stuff getting ready to come to a theater near you. Did you send it?
Nope, give me 1 second. Why don't you show the web version? There you go, and I'll find this one.
So this is the web-based version of our product, a picture of it. And maybe, Brad, a picture probably as good as, you know, what we need to do. Do you want to comment on the columns that are a little bit different, or how this is different than what we're doing on the C#?
Yeah, you know what? It's not really that different. Architecturally, it's got a little bit of a different flavor from the ability to launch windows right from the toolbar and not needing to launch them right from the AI strategies window. But it's going to have all the information that you need, the same information that you have in the downloadable application version.
So now, again, whether you're on a Mac, whether you're on a Mac or even to some case on your phone or iPad, this is all real, as you can see. It matches this, and there's going to be, I mean, to some extent, there's going to be some improvements in this thing. I mean, Brad and I have done a pretty good job of trying to put it together, and this is what you are able to get. So this is something that probably in the next couple of days, Brad, in beta?
Yeah, I would expect, what is today, Wednesday? You know, Monday is probably very realistic.
Yeah. And Scott, as you can see, we've as we've been promising you, You know, lots of cool stuff. So Brad, what did you send me there?
I just sent you the download, so you can install it in 30 seconds and pop it open. I'm going to send you a cloud link too.
Okay, hold on a second. Let me. All right, guys, Brad and I are freestyling here for you. I'm installing some sort of crazy new version of something or other. Yeah, here we go. Brad, is this a layout? Or
yeah, it's just that's a chart window, so that way you don't need to configure it.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, hold on. Oh, here we go. My cloud. Is that the chart window you wanted to show me?
Yeah, so it's the studies, and you could actually add a moving average right now. If you go into that top panel, right click, go to indicator, add a new indicator. Yeah, just go ahead and add an EMA 30, for instance. And this is something where you could add any moving average, EMA, SMA, any period.
So, and here's your EMA 30.
So a lot of studies, a lot of unique information that's special to trade ideas in our data set. So the chart's going to be a real nice visual workspace with our information.
Yeah. So we're kind of, as you can see, we lead the field in AI and all this stuff, and we're kind of backfilling now, adding all the indicators that you're going to like and things like that. Hopefully Barry's very excited with what he sees. Yeah, so we're going to be your full charting, everything that you want. It's all coming in here with the stops and the profit targets and everything else. And, and again, you can see, Brad, what did you do do you know what this is? It's like multicolored.
It's probably a 200 period, or, I'm not sure, because that was part of your original window. So
it's probably a 200 period moving average.
Yeah, and there's still some bugs here. So.
Right. But again, at least you guys can see what's going on.
So Marguerite asked a question, what's the strong stock pulling back? And at the beginning, I think the very first link that I placed in the chat provides a description of all the different strategies. But as Barry said, it just happens to be a stock that's strong for the day that you're catching it on a pullback.
Well, let me show you this, and again, why it's so easy and good to surf around. So look at this channel that I'm on. This is a channel called our active trading channel. And the reason we call it this is because it's really geared for people that are okay with having a lot of information. And one of the windows that we have, which we really like, it's kind of understated but so powerful. Pullbacks on winners. That's strong stocks pulling back. Okay, so what does that do? It looks for stocks that are up for the day, like TRIL is up for the day, but it's down 3% over the last 30 minutes, pulling back. Strong stock, pulling back. Here's bounces on stocks that are down. Down, bouncing. Down, bouncing. So all day long, you've got these two windows that are giving you the candidates for that type of stuff. Well, Brad, I can't speak English. So, Brad, what is the?
I think it's pretty funny. So Bill was asking if we were going to be releasing a version that had the AI history, and I think you just installed a version that took that out. But in version 2, go ahead and see though. You can just right-click on that strategy trades, and now go on the strategy. Yeah.
I'm in. Yesterday. Hello.
Good. Yeah.
It has it.
So it is in this version. So yeah, in version 2.5, it's the version you can download on the website. You can go through and you can query any date or range of dates and get a list of stocks that you could then copy out of this window, paste in Excel, do whatever you want with it.
So for example, yesterday we had a short in VRTX, which we made 52 cents on, risk off. And today it continued down another 2%. Entry price 44.72. That's right here, and here it is today, and that's what that looks like. Sell, bought it back, and here it is. So you can really see everything that the AI does. There's just no hiding it. And what are we about to do, Brad? You know, it's always what are we about to do. Well, guys, we're about to put in the suggested swing exits too. You know what those are, Brad?
I do. Those are going to be adjusted for holding stock over a period of days rather than intraday.
So, guys, it is the dream. And I have to tell you, we just closed our most incredible quarter and month of the year in history of the company. We've never done better. You guys are accepting our technology in a way that I guess we didn't even imagine. We have to say thank you. I mean, because you guys are all here. There's over 60 of you. You're spending your time with us, and we want to tell you how important that is to us and how obsessed we are with creating something for you that's extraordinary. Again, you now have history on the AI, you know, and you can even do the same thing as time frames. Like, let's say yesterday, which was 10. So yesterday to, let's say, the Monday before. And you can just kind of see, like, what did these things do? How and what and where and and why. And once again, remember that this isn't just about saying, oh, did the AI do well or didn't it do well? It's also about creating your own levels. See, you make little statements for yourself and they make sense. Here, AI tried it here, didn't work out, but it got it here. That means that something's coming together. Here, there's no question. Okay? So, again, you have now AI history. You know that we do what we say. And you've got this Google navigation for investing. Okay, so Craig was asking about VRTX. How did I know that VRTX was a trade from yesterday? So in this channel, I right-clicked and I said history, and I went yesterday. Yes. And then I saw VRTX. Entry price 4.47, made the 52 cents, and where is it now? 142. Does that make sense, Craig, hopefully? Brad, it might not be in there, is it?
I don't know. I'm questioning that right now. I need to.
Yeah, Bill, we're going to double check. It might not be. The thing is that when Brad and I present, we are always on a few versions ahead, but we also know that that history is coming to the beta very, very soon. So there's just no, we're very confident in showing it. It's going to be in beta. Yeah, no, Omar and everyone else, I think 4.25 still does not have that yet, I think is what's going on. And what we'll do is we'll coordinate a new beta release.
Yeah, I'm going to push for a new beta. It won't have the kind of a few of the other things that we were showing, like the analytics on the chart with respect.
Yeah, but we should have a new beta. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we get it, Bill. Okay, let me go back to our, so again, you guys saw web-based AI coming very, very soon. All the things that you're seeing here, chart indicators, et cetera, channels. We've added the low vote channel recently. We've added the short squeeze channel. We have the options, of course, and we're continuing. As things happen, we add more channels, and it's always a good idea to check things out. What's moving, you know, on any channel. It's good to come in there, take a look, and make notes. So, okay, I'm going to go back to the presentation real quick. And what I'm going to do is, as we finish up here, we talked about the trading room, which, again, you really ought to take a look at. One of the other things we do is we have an informal communication session on Friday where myself and Jamie, we do our Trade Ideas podcast, always ahead of the curve and talking about what's going on in a kind of a fun, informal way. We hope you check it out. We are a software as a subscription service, but really it's more like AI as a subscription service, which again, there are no competitors to what we do in the marketplace. We have, and this is going to be a very important part of what we're going to say here, Brad, because this is an important announcement. So this is our current rate, monthly for basic 99, annual 188, and for premium, I'm sorry, annual 888, and for premium it's monthly $188 and annual 188. Starting January, we are going to add 20% to all of these. So the price is going up 1.2 multiplied by all of these, and that's what you're going to see starting January. So right now, everyone, we do this thing with Trade Ideas is for early adoption, we grandfather. So everyone who gets a subscription before the year's end will stay on the grandfathered rates that are available now, these rates, as long as you are a subscriber. So we want to give you a reason to A, get a discount, do better, and before prices go up in January.
It's good also, Dan, to have some historical perspective. Sometimes I browse through our back office. I see people that have been with us quite some time, and they've got rates of $45 because they were with us 10 years ago. So
of course,
we definitely reward you for sticking with us.
Well, we're raising prices because, again, we're just pushing the envelope of functionality, and there is no other vendor of AI. And if you think about how much we cost, guys, honestly, take a look. Right around the Venti Cafe Latte rate per day. And with that, you get an AI trader that's your teacher in a box, your analyst in a box, etc. It's everything that you need to invest successfully. Here are the rates. So for Pedro, and again, basic you renew at 99, annual you renew at 888, and for premium you renew at 188 a month or annual 188. Yes, so Bill and everybody else, this is very important stuff. The rates you have now, as long as you're a subscriber, they will not go up. But our rates are going to go up in January. So this is a heads up for anybody. Lots of opportunities to get in before we raise prices. Kevin, we can never possibly give an upcharge to Barry. That would mean that we value his service. Right, Brad? We can never do something like that. Okay, backtesting. Brad, I think that's a great question that we should probably, that's a good way to leave the webinar, okay? So how do we backtest? And all of our technology, what differentiates Trade Ideas from everybody else, high level, is based upon what I'm going to show you right now. How do you know if anything works? All of our technology started with this concept of real-time alerts, like let me know when something's happening in real time, okay? Love it. So we're going to do a little search. I'm going to start from scratch and show you how we created the AI. 20-day moving average. Fun alert. Let's have no other filters anywhere. So anytime any stock hits, and go to OTCs, passes above its 20-day moving average. We can do something to get rid of low price stuff. So let's say 50 cents is the minimum and 100 is the maximum. Okay, and we hit OK. And we're going to call this 20, whoops. So this is what it looks like. It's a 20-day SMA cross, and anytime you saw it, you would see a stock go over its 20-day SMA, and if I would add the indicator, you would, of course, see it. I'm not going to do it this second, but you can go to history and you can go today and you can just see like all the different things that we're coming across. Okay. So in 2005, we said to ourselves, well, you know what we need to know? Which one of these worked? Our software developer guys hated that question. So we ultimately created with what's called the odds maker. We can say, okay, well, anytime I see an event like this take place, I'm going to pretend I buy it. And because I don't trade anything right at the open, I wait for my 15 minutes to sip my coffee and get comfortable, and I don't initiate any new trades during the last hour because that's when I manage it. And I'm going to try to hold this stuff for, let's say, the entire day if I can, because I want to hold it longer, but let's say for the entirety of the day. And no profit target, but I'm going to get out if my smart stop gets hit. So let's simulate a buy, shall we? So notice the speed. So the software just went through 2,992 simulated trades and told you that you have a 42.7% rate of success. Your average winner is 25 cents, your average loser is 19 cents. And if you're paying, let's say, a commission of $7, very retail brokerage, and your starting equity is 200,000, and you're doing, let's say, share size of 300 shares every time you trade it, this is what it all looks like. Not good. And again, you can dive into each day, see what trades were hit, why, how, all of that. And it's through this exercise of figuring out, oh, well, look at this. I shouldn't trade the $10 stocks. Well, that makes a lot of sense. Look, it's like a lot of the trades and only 41%. Let's see if that helps at all. So you can go to the alert window, go to configure, and go on the Windows specific filters and say, well, I don't want to trade. Let's make it $11 now. And now I can just run it again and see if that helped. Looks like it's helping a little bit, maybe. So our average winner is a little better, and you know, just a slight improvement. But this process of what we just did there is what our software, Holly, like all of this optimization, time of day, and other filters, etc. That's what Holly does by herself. So all of these things you see here, all of these strategies, they were designed by the AI to do what I just showed you via backtesting, and this is how it performed today. These were all the trades. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 possible trades, 2 shorts, 12 longs, and risk off profit of 176 and risk on profit of 1.116. Marguerite, we don't even try to think about bearish and bullish or bullish and bearish. It's just about the odds. Go where the odds are high and you cannot be in the wrong place. And as long as you're managing it with the amount of money where you're comfortable, you are going to be doing the right thing. We do not have a swing trading channel for options traders, but we're going to get into that a lot more, into the options market. We're just in the middle of dominating the equities market as we speak. All right, Scott, I think that's all that I had for today.